Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today we're going to be doing a community lot actually. I really enjoyed all of the new items that came with the Party Essentials kit, so I thought I could do something on a community lot with this. I already did a baby shower venue at a pavilion in I think not my last video, but maybe the video before that. So check that out if you haven't already. I will pin it in the video somewhere around here. But today I wanted to do something a little more fun and aimed towards the kiddos. So I decided to make like a water park kind of venue. And obviously I started off being a pool venue, so I had to add a pool. I do end up getting rid of that and changing this venue to a park instead because I could not include a few things that I thought would just be essential to having like a birthday party scenario with a water park and all these splash pads. So I did end up getting rid of the very big pool, but you'll see I'm pulling out these splash pads from Growing Together. I really wanted to include those. There's also a party cannon that came with Growing Together. It like shoots out confetti and sparkles and such, but I'm pulling out all of the water park things that I thought were essential. And also this fairy house like flower arrangement piece, and I lowered it into the ground a little bit over here with the tool mod, and then I just moved it around and I did size it up obviously, but I thought it looked really cool, so I wanted to include that somewhere. And also adding these like water park signs that came with Growing Together, and I just kind of flipped them around, so one side is obviously the name of the park and the other side is blank. I just kind of used both of them on either side, and I used tool mod to size them up ever so slightly. And then I positioned them around these light poles that came with City Living with these hanging lanterns on them because I really like the colors on those. I thought that it brought in that water park feel, but also like the fairy feel. So that's why it's called Fairyland Waterpark. It is also right next to the little open world space that has the Sylvan Glade tree. So I thought that was a nice little nod to fairies because that area is very enchanted. It's very pink. It's very colorful. And I thought that it would work out really nicely in this case. And I also decided to add some other kids activities. So we have like a little toddler slide. We have a set of monkey bars. I also threw in this cool little like mushroom looking dollhouse and also the ball pit for the toddlers. So various range of ages for everyone able to enjoy this park. And there's also a kiddie pool, which is usable by toddlers, kids, teens, and adults, so that's always nice. Like the adults and the kids can kind of lounge in the pool, whereas the toddlers can physically sit in it and splash like a normal pool. So I thought that was a nice little touch as well, adding more of these string lights that came with City Living. And you will see I just added a little half wall around this little corner here. I was trying to figure out a covered party space because I knew I wanted to have like music and like a table and some seating so that everybody can eat cake and food and stuff if you have a party here. Also, these columns are from Realm of Magic, and I just kind of positioned them around all the corners of this roof because after I got the roof down on top of my little pretend room, I saw what kind of shape I needed to have, so that's why they're there, so I can map out the rest of this area. And that fence ends up going away. The little white fence ends up going away eventually. That was just my testing fence, I guess, to see what kind of size I was going for. I also added like a ceiling piece here so I could add a roof trim, and then I decided to fix it up a little bit because I had to make a custom shape with these little floor pieces so that the trim would go all around the outside and not be intersecting with the roof. I also angled the roof a little bit. There's nice pink shingles. It's very pretty. It's very cute. I like it. So basically I made another pavilion. I'm a repeat offender, but we have a nice little floor down here now, so I had to replace the little fairy house thing over here, and then I used the tool mod to rotate it versus freely rotating it so that I could make note of the rotation, and if I had to replace it again, which spoiler alert, I did have to replace it in multiple times, but I cut out most of that because it was very boring. I added some cottage living flooring with like the pavers with the flowers in between so that it had a nice like flooring pattern in it, and it kind of matched the terrain paint that I have where the splash pads are, because it's pretty much the same. It's just one's a terrain paint and one is a floor tile. Slightly different. Also, the roof trim on the little house here, which is the office / bathroom, is from For Rent, and I love the pink and like the muted pink overhang. It kind of looks like you have, Christmas lights up all the time or fairy lights up all the time. And then I use the Castle Estate kit siding with the stone and the moss growing in between. I thought that looked like a little enchanted castle or something. I don't know. I was going for a specific feel with this water park. So the door is from, I think that's from Desert Luxe kit, if I am not mistaken. And then the windows are from my Wedding Stories. I really like the tall windows. And at first I had the pink shutters. I do end up changing that, I believe, to the white without the bars in it. It just looked a little, I don't know, the pinks were clashing. It was too much. And then this door over here to the bathroom is from Realm of Magic. And I'm just adding the sink and toilet. The toilet, I think, is from Tiny Living. And then the sinks are from the Country Kitchen kit. Lots of packs in this one. Once again, I can't be helped. I am sorry. But we have a little shower from University going in as well because it came in a pink tone. And then the door from Strangerville. I did have to kind of scooch the shower back a little bit so that you can get to it. And the shower was a requirement on the lot when it was a pool. When I did change it to a park, I thought keeping the shower there might be a good idea anyway, so I just kept it there. Also a little cloud light, which is base game, and then these tiny little windows from Cottage Living. The mirrors are from, I think they're from Vintage Glamour, and they came in a beautiful pink swatch. So, and then the flooring in this entire building is from the Country Kitchen kit as well, adding these lovely star lights into the bathroom. And I do add my lovely bathroom essentials kit stuff later, but I did that off camera, so you won't see that until the screenshots, but they are very cute. And I also add like a little nifty knitting wall hanging thing. I forget what it's called. It looks like 2 little flower jars with some knitted flowers in it, and I thought that was a nice touch. And then in here we have more countertops. I think these are they're either from Cottage Living or Country Kitchen kit. Don't quote me. I don't remember. They're from one of those. I think Country Kitchen, but they come in a lovely purple swatch. They came in pink too, but again, too many pinks. So the computer is pink though, and that is from City Living. And then the wallpaper is from Realm of Magic as well. And a little tiny hanging lantern above the desk, that is from For Rent. I just thought that it was really nice and kind of whimsical, so I put that in here as well as some wall sconces from Paranormal Stuff. But I think I end up adding different lights instead. I didn't like the wall-mounted lights. I thought maybe a hanging light would be better. And then over here, back by the little fairy house in the pavilion area, I'm adding a bunch of flowers from Romantic Garden Stuff because they come in a lot of vibrant colors, and I thought they went really nicely in here. Some tables from Cottage Living because they also come in a variety of colors, and I thought I could kind of, color code them with like some pastels and some nice, I wanted it to have a whimsical feel, so I used these chairs from Laundry Day, and I thought they were really nice too because they come in yellows and pinks and greens and blues and all of the colors that I wanted to use for out here. And I do change up the swatch on these a whole bunch of times. Then I'm adding some candles to the tables from Dine Out. And also a little flower from Dine Out. I think it's my favorite flower. I always use this one for putting on tables. There's a reason why it came with Dine Out. And then we have the present piles, which came with Seasons. And they are interactive, so anybody can come up to them and grab presents. So that might be a little annoying with your townie Sims grabbing presents, but I actually didn't have a problem. And I play tested on this lot for a long time. My Sims had a full day at this park. They had a lot of fun, and I had a large age range attending. So I thought it was a nifty little thing to have. And then we are adding our party essentials stuff. So we have like the sign out front. I pulled out the cake stand. These are those streamers going up on the ceiling part, and I just kind of position them more in the middle. I also pull out these little bunches of balloons with the lights on them to put on the ground, and then these standing balloons in a very rainbow swatch. And then more streamers up on the ceiling here. I was trying to get them even because I didn't want them to overlap too much, but in the middle part where they meet, I thought that was nice. And then little hanging ball light things that came with the Party Essentials kit. I just thought that was a fun thing too. And adding some snacks and some beverages on top of this table from that same kit. And then adding these streamers, and I did have to use the 9 key to raise them up ever so slightly, but I wanted it to look like they were coming down from the ceiling, as well as these balloons with the extra streamers hanging off of them. So I did use those in almost every little empty space here. I also have the hanging LED lights. I use 2 sets of balloons for that one because that opening was big enough to fit both. And then on the other side, I also add more streamers here and more balloons up there. And that's pretty much it for the decorations on the inside of the little gazebo area. I think this place came out really cute. And I also add some little lights over here on the side with the presents and the little fairy house. because I thought it needed just a tiny bit more light. And then I think I also add, yes, this neon sign over here with the butterfly on it right behind the table. It's very sneaky, but it's like hidden in the bushes because they do have a lot of lights on this lot, so they must hide their electronics very well. Adding some more of these standing balloons here too, because I thought it just needed a little more decoration and more of these bunches of balloons. And unfortunately, you cannot size them down. I tried, but the thing is that the lights that are on the balloons stay the same size, so they're like floating just above the balloons. That didn't really work. And some little LED strip lights here that are hanging, I just changed the color on those so they're more of a white rather than a pink. And some speakers up here on the pillars so that you can have some music at your party. There was lots of dancing happening when I was playtesting this. I thought it was a good choice. And then some little confetti piles all over the floor. I assume those were from the cannon. Here I'm picking out some birthday cakes, so I will put their name up on the screen because it was really, really quick. But I pulled out a strawberry cake to put on the cake stand, and then the hamburger cake you will see floating around, that I could not get to go away. That's the cake my Sims ended up eating when they were playtesting. So we had food. It was nice. And then here's some fountains going in. You'll also see I placed the food stall and then these little froggy fountains up by the front. Also, this little dancing fountain I placed right in the middle of the splash pad, and then I covered it with these little luminary ball things from my wedding stories. And I thought that it looked so nice when it was in game. The kids couldn't play in it or anything, but I thought it looked so cute with the water just spurting up from these little balls. It looked like they were meant to be there for that reason, so I thought it came out really nice. There's a little hack for you if you're making like a garden fountain or something. Put those little balls in there. They're just, I don't know why. I never thought about that before, but they looked really cool. And then a lot of landscaping. You're going to see lots of flowers. I use these pink low-lying flowers and also the little white ones that are pretty much the same, just sized down a little bit, and they're in a different color. Then a lot of blue hydrangeas all over the place. I guess they're blue. Maybe they're purple. I don't know. They're one of them. And then I'm just trying to come up with what kind of trees to use. I pull out these from Get Together, and I do size down one, so it's kind of catty corner. I wanted some shade in that space because I assume that's where you're going to get your food, and maybe you'll sit at one of the seats in the covered area, or you can use one of these benches, which are from Romantic Garden Stuff, and I put them near the gardens because I thought that would be a nice spot for the parents to sit while they're supervising their children at the park. I don't know. It just makes sense to me. And then, of course, a chess table, because this is a park. That is one of the requirements. You have to have a chess table and 2 patio chairs. So I picked the patio chairs that came with base game because they have a nice pink cushion on them. And then we're using some terrain paint to map out where the little stall is so that everybody has a little spot to get in line and get their food. And this one came with Growing Together, this food stall. So it has, I think it's like taquitos, egg rolls, and some other kinds of stuff. I think there are some spicy things, but the ones from City Living all had very specific genres of food, if that's what you want to call it. And I wanted something that had a mix of normal kind of water park food or like amusement park food. That was what I was going for. So I did have to look for a while to pick that one out, but I thought that was a nice one. And then we are adding some pretty vines and flowers to the outside of the building here that leads into the office space and the bathrooms, and more romantic garden stuff flowers. I just threw in a bunch of them. There's like the delphinium and then the other really tall ones I can't remember the name of, a bunch of the little irises. They're all over the place. And then more of these vining flowers over here. I had to use tool mod to lower them down slightly because they were just up a little bit too far on the wall. And then on top of the grass here, I'm just making some pathways with the same stone that I used before from Get Together, just from the front to the office. And then I do it all along the side of where the splash pad is, and then up to the food stall area. And then, of course, I needed to add more dirt underneath all the flower beds to make that look a little bit more, fleshed out, and more irises all around. They're just so pretty. There's that hamburger cake up here. I don't know why. I don't know why it wouldn't go away, but I use these gumdrop looking bushes here in the front and some lavender also to totally frame the entire park because I thought they were very whimsical and fun looking. And I used this purple one, and then the smaller one is yellow. I think they're from Cottage Living, if I do remember correctly. I really like these big flowering bushes. They were perfect for this case. They really aren't that usable on a normal lot, I find. They're just a little too colorful. Like this was the toned down swatch that I used here. And let me tell you, some of them are just out there. That pack is a mixed bag, but either way, if you're looking for something very whimsical, that pack is highly recommended by me. And if you like what you're seeing so far, please be sure to like and subscribe if you have not already. It really helps the channel out. And if you have something specific that you want to see me try, I would love to hear what you have to say, because it gives me a good idea of what my viewers are looking for. And I just enjoy hearing your ideas, because, you know, it's always good to have different ideas and different opinions when it comes to these kinds of things. I'm very linear in my ideas. I only want to do cottages and family homes. So it's very nice to hear when someone has an idea that I can maybe run with, and, you know, it just helps me. It helps me in general. So thank you so much. And also adding some more rocks and some more of these tall grasses here around the water park, because I wanted it to look kind of overgrown, but not super overgrown. And I also use these little fence pieces. They're kind of like wall decorations, really, like they snap to the wall, but I thought they were really nice. These are from Romantic Garden as well. And I wanted to frame in the rest of this building. So I just use them to just be all around this building. And then I double up on these taller ones that you're seeing right in front of you, because I wanted it to fill in the empty gap between the building and the fence, and I couldn't quite figure out what else to put there that wouldn't clip with the building, so I just use a bunch of them over and over again. And I think it just looks like a nice little hedge. I don't know, it looks nice. Like, it's very intentional. The gardener here knew what they were doing. And of course, more lavender and more terrain paint going around the entirety of the building. And then back here at the food stall, I'm just going to frame in this space with more terrain paint. A lot of this is just terrain paint, and then figuring out where things were going to go, because I wanted it to look like deliberate paths, but obviously your Sims can walk wherever the heck they want. They don't necessarily follow paths. It's just to look nice. So my Sims were all over the place. And you'll see in the screenshots, everybody was having so much fun playing with the water fountains. And I don't think I've really ever used the splash pad from Growing Together. So it was really, really nice to have that option, and to have like so many things to include in a park, and I didn't ever think about it, so I'm glad I got the chance to use it. And then here's many, many, many more flowers, just throwing all of these flowers in. I wanted it to have that whimsical feel all throughout the park, but make sure that everybody could get where they needed. And I did need, when I was playtesting, I did need to alter a few things and move some things around. But for the most part, everybody was able to get to the tables. They were able to use everything on the playground area. They were able to have plenty of areas to sit. There was a little bit of a fight over the bathroom because there's only one toilet, but that's okay. If you really have to, if you really have to, you can throw in a pea bush somewhere, so that just in case. But I thought it was a really nice park, and I think it came out really cute. So I hope you like it too. Also adding these little fairy lights from the little campers kit all around the front and then the side fences. More flowers here as well. And I think I also end up adding some exterior lights, like the little stick lights in the ground that are from Little Campers Kit. And they're meant to go with the string lights that are on the fence, but I use them just as standalone lights in this park because they were just so pretty. Like, they came in pinks and purples and all kinds of fun colors. So that's exactly what I was going for. And I think this is the rest of the flowers going in. There's so many flowers. Here's those little lights I was talking about. They're like pink, a pink stand, and then the little jar that has the fairy lights in them has a blue cap, and they just look so fun. I love these. I'm probably going to end up using these more because I totally forgot that these existed until I went to go place lights in here. After all this exterior stuff, we're going to work on the inside. So we have the little office space. Like I said, the computer is from City Living. It is in that pink swatch. And then I add a little kitchen over here. So if your Sim comes here for a birthday party or some kind of event that involves cooking or baking a cake, they have a stove and a fridge here ready to go. There's also a little sink for washing dishes, and I use the appliances from the Country Kitchen kit because they match really nicely in here. And then the sink is just base game. I also add some overhead cabinets, and this is where I get rid of these wall lights, or at least one of them, because it was kind of going to get in the way of my cabinet situation. I use the same ones that match the countertops in this purple swatch, and I kind of just position them around the one wall. I didn't want them to be all around the wall because it looked a little bit too formal, like a real kitchen. But I did add the light from Dream Home Decorator just above it to give some more light, and then the rug from Laundry Day underneath, and then a dish rack over here by the sink. And then I think I add one more little plant. Oh, yes, I do. I remember now. We'll get to it soon, but I use the fairy house again, only in the smaller version because I thought it would be perfect right there. And maybe that was just a mini replica. Maybe this was like the diagram of what it was going to look like, and they made it into a flower pot. that was my inspiration there. And also a little light from Werewolves. It's like that little moonflower light. I thought that was so pretty. And of course a tea set, because fairies, fairy parties, tea sets, and a little drink tray from Perfect Patio. I put that on the desk for like the guests that come here to schedule their parties and such, and a bunch of wall decals, some hearts, some flowers, a little freezer bunny and a flower, and of course the beautiful tree that came with growing together with the flowers and the birds. I don't know. And of course these curtains are crazy, but I thought they were really fun. And it's really hard to use them frequently because they're like vines hanging all over your windows. But in this case, I thought it was nice and whimsical, so I used them. And then a little flower arrangement from Dream Home Decorator, this lovely book, I assume for like signing in for your time slot. And then I have a framed simoleon up on the wall for the business owner. And here's the rest of the decoration. You'll see I added some more flower arrangements. I lost that footage because I am who I am. But here's the finished build. You'll see I also added some leaves and flower decorations to the splash pad. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please like and subscribe and leave any comments down below what you'd want to see next. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.